So hello guys, what's up and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's me, your girl barrister Neze, and this is Nezeville. News has filled the internet space that Nollywood actress Regina has gone back to her politician husband Nwoko for reconciliation, and there are talks and plans on the way to have her comply with his conditions and have the marriage restored. Now, this may come as a letdown or a surprise to some people, but for those who understand the dynamics of these kinds of marriages, especially in places like Nigeria, this was not unforeseen. Today's video will be very educative and expository, and we're also going to touch on the legal angles. We're going to give some legal analysis in this case. We are going to discuss the theory of the velvety cage. But before we delve into that very interesting and very enlightening theory, let me first give us a critical analysis of why this news of Regina going back to Ned is more likely than unlikely. Why it will be near impossible to quit this marriage, and what we can or may expect at the end of it all. If you are new here, you're coming across our channel for the first time, welcome. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, give this video a big thumbs up, drop your thoughts down in the comments section, and stay glued, for there is always so much more coming your way. Without further ado, let us dive right into this video. The first reason why I believe it may be near impossible for Regina to quit this marriage is what I would term selling your soul to the devil. Now, when people talk about selling one's soul to the devil, they always come from the angle of something fetish, like voodoo, jazz, like the devil is someone with horns. They mostly come from the spiritual angle of things, of somebody's star or somebody's luck, somebody's shine, somebody's grace being used by an older person or by another person. But I have a completely different approach. When I say one has traded their soul to the devil, I mean one who has traded her peace, her dignity, her freedom for a life of wealth and opulence. Yes, so I do not mean it from the drinking blood perspective and Ayamatanga and Andy Okeke pattern. No, for me, it is just a metaphor for making a very serious, very heavy moral and emotional compromise. Now, once a person becomes deeply accustomed to wealth, especially wealth that they didn't build up, they didn't work for, and especially that one enjoyed or gotten access to at a young age. I'm talking about exotic cars, huge mansions, travels and trips overseas and across the world, designer items, private jets, police security, yachts, and all of that. When you have been exposed to that kind of life for a while and from a young age, normal life may now feel unbearable, and simplicity will now be looking like suffering. Now, this person, whom is referred to as the person that has sold his or her soul to the devil, has been put in a terrain, at a place where it is now unthinkable to live. And you cannot just imagine life without privilege, even if this privilege is coming at the cost of peace. And so you have to spend your days convincing yourself that the cost of living is more painful, is more unbearable than the pain of staying. Now, Regina, who goes to the club and buy a bottle of champagne of 5 million naira, Regina who spent $10,000 buying just waist beads from Jaruma, and that was like how many years ago? Was it not 5 years ago? In current Nigeria, that's spending almost 16 million naira for waist beads. Is that the person that one will expect to have the commitment, the patience, the endurance to groom a business, to grow a business of her own from the scratch, to tolerate customer feedback and pamper customers, to wait on set and go up and down for a wage of 400,000 naira, it is difficult. And that's why, talking about this selling soul to the devil, that's why you see many of our socialites, many of our big ladies, our Lagos big girls that, have the beauty, they have cars, they have, the body, they have everything. That's why sometimes you see their lives going in a certain direction. The turnout of their lives are always very similar. To have and nurture a meaningful relationship and even get married is almost like is almost an impossibility, because where do they want to start from? A normal man with a normal source of income cannot appeal to you anymore at that stage. How would you expect yourself, having been exposed to this kind of lifestyle, to go into a marriage and be listening to, cooking for, respecting, considering the opinions of a man that earns 500,000 naira in the bank, when that is just the cost of your nails and lashes alone? How? How? So these girls are tossed and trapped in a false paradise where reality becomes painful. They can't settle, they can't stay put, they're on the move, chasing dreams and chasing material things with little or no true life connection, with no one to call their own. And at the end of the day, you might now find these kinds of people living what we can call an empty life of no true happiness, no true fulfillment, no true purpose. Because you know what? When all is said and done, love and genuine human connection remains the number one need of human beings, not money. Go and ask, let me say, hospice nurses, those people that nurse people that are about to die. Go and ask them what the last state of mind of people that are dying or people that are on their deathbed, what is their last thoughts, the last thing they hold on to before they transition out of this life. Many of them will tell you that even grown-ass men, grandfathers, will be calling on their moms, mama, mommy, at that place. Some will ask, go and call my wife. Some will ask, I want to speak to my children. No one has ever said, get me the keys to my Ferrari. No one has ever demanded, bring me my PhD degree and lay it beside me. When all is said and done, at the end of the day, what is most desirable and most important to human beings is love and genuine human connection and attachment. And now you have lost that essence. And then we say that person sold their soul or their destiny to the devil. There is a literal explanation of it. So money and material things are not what will create that fulfillment at the end of the day. Go and ask those very rich people, those billionaires. They will tell you at the end of the day, see what is most important though. If it was money, if it was material things, we would not have multi-billionaires who have all the money in the world. We will not have supermodels who are seen as the most attractive people in the world get so sad that they hit depression and mental illness that they have to take their own lives. So being put in that place, at that state, on that level, it is very difficult to come out of it, to go down from it. So Regina has been put in that pedestrian that we can term unsustainable by herself. She needs that source to sustain that lifestyle. And surviving outside of it will feel impossible. And so she may find herself going back to manage and make do at whatever cost, even if that cost is her peace of mind. Talking about money and making money, let me very quickly remind us of a company that I introduced to us some time back called Analytics, because it seems some people do not quite get what they are about and all you stand to benefit from them. Now, some of us already have degrees in economics, physics, mathematics, and all of these good courses. But in the present day and time, there are jobs that are in demand. I'm talking about jobs in data analytics, project management, cyber security, and the likes. 10 Analytics is an edutech company that offers training in these courses and more, even when you have no background or previous experience in them. Now, what stands them out? First, of course, they are fully accredited by the American Council of Training and Development. Secondly, they are a Canadian-based company, so their credibility is not in question. Thirdly, they emphasize teaching real-life tools like Excel, like SQL, Power BI, those tools that you would need on the job, they will teach you. And again, they have a very impressive support and mentorship technique. So it's not just about materials and dumping them on you. They would hold your hands, guide you, ensure you learn, teach you. And even after the training, on the job, they still offer support. During or after passing through their program, you get interviews. They will prep you, teach you how to answer questions. And since during your training with them, you get to work on real life projects, that will count as work experience for you during your job applications. They have flexible lectures and even give opportunity for installmental payments. So I'm going to leave the link to directly chat with them on WhatsApp. You can ask all your questions. Wishing you all the very best and more money, more of your own money. There is nothing as sweet as your own money, so you will end up married for something else and now coming here. So let us proceed with this video. Secondly, the legal implications and the possibility of her losing her children. You see, Daddy Ned is a seasoned lawyer. He's a UK trained lawyer and he has practiced. You haven't read about Daddy Ned? He was representing countries in lawsuits, not just individuals, countries. He was even at the time representing the country, Morocco. He was holding brief for the government of Morocco. I think that was where he even maybe met Lila, his fifth wife. So this man is a seasoned lawyer and he is a politician. And when you put that combination together, it is an inferno. When news of this whole altercation made it out on social media, in less than 24 hours, Nwoko released an official statement and put it out on social media, exculpating himself, exonerating himself, distancing himself from the situation, and immediately implicating his wife. My dear, there is no love in polygamy. He immediately cast her out and protected himself, protected his image, even at her detriment. He immediately labeled her a drug addict. Now, we do not know for sure whether she is truly into drug use and abuse. But I tell you, in the court of law, these pictures will not help. These impressions will not be to her favor, to her advantage. And you may, in America watching me, or where are you watching me, say, oh, after all, they're going to test her. They're going to investigate. I am a lawyer of practicality. And I will tell you that the way things happen in America and Europe is not the way it happens in Nigeria. Do you really think that a Regina can battle and win a Nwoko in courts, or any rich, connected, affluent politician? We saw the case with Precious Chikwendo once again. I think it's very similar. That's why the example keeps coming in. Precious Chikwendo and her ex-husband, Femi Fani-Kayode, when she tried to assert her right in court of custody of the 4 sons that she bore him. We saw how that went. Adjournment after adjournment, delay after delay, and the children were still with the man. On top of it, the man initiated criminal proceedings against her. Is it that the police that instituted those criminal actions, accusing her of attempted murder, those were the charges that her ex-husband brought? Do you know the punishment for attempted murder? Do you know that one can spend 15 years easily behind bars for attempted murder? But those were the charges that were preferred against her. So she went to fight for custody and she entered one chance. When she saw that this fish is too big for me to wrestle, for me to hook, she had to swallow her pride, swallow her shame, and went through dialogue to be able to access her children. If she wanted to do court fight and court battle with that rich man, what her eyes would have seen, she had to calm down. That is the kind of country that we find ourselves. So what are the odds? What are her chances? And even if she even stood a chance at all, against a sitting senator, which is very unlikely, but let us just imagine that she stood a chance at all. It has now been placed on record that she is unfit to be a mother by, of course, anybody who is into drug use will be deemed by the courts to be unfit for parenting. That has been put out for the record, for reference purposes. So if she wants to leave, she would leave alone without those children. And if she's not satisfied, she should take it to court. The senator released not just a statement, but videos. And he termed it what? Unprovoked. Unprovoked what? Carnage of Regina in my house and in my what? Absence. Meaning, I didn't hit her. You know when something is unprovoked, meaning I didn't do anything to her. She just went on a rampage. And he now added in that statement, in my absence. So, this one that her brother is saying, you beat my sister. He has said I was not there when it happened. She just started destroying and rampaging everywhere. He has exonerated himself. Which staff there wants to give testimony against him? Even going back to this FFK story, remember that he also came out to say that Precious Chikwendo was a drug user and told the court that she's unfit to have the children. It even happened with this governor of Enugu State and his wife. I think she's remarried now. She remarried a Hausa man. Who remembers the story? What's the name? Is this Governor, is this Sullivan? I'm not really sure. But there's this governor of Enugu State that he and his wife had issues, and he came out to say she's a drug user and she has schizophrenia. In fact, that she's a lunatic and she can't go with the children. So how will somebody in Regina's position stomach or survive the fact that Obarakala, in Igbo land we call it Obaraka, meaning she's going to leave empty-handed? The material things they're talking about that we say, okay, she came to secure bag. Little or no bag has been secured because all the assets are not in her name. Then the children that she would have used to hold body, I say, okay, this is what I got from this marriage. That when she looks at them every day, she will be happy. She would find reason to, survive and push forward. Then the children will now be taken away from her. So what will she now have that she got from that marriage? That is capable of making any woman go bonkers, and that is very likely to inform a decision for her to go back and manage the situation. Thirdly, is the family pressure. It is not unusual or uncommon in Nigeria for women who have suffered or are suffering domestic violence to be urged or forced back to their aggressor. Domestic violence is not seen as a big deal, as so much of a big deal in so many parts of Nigeria. Should we say Africa? Let us know what it is like wherever you're watching from. And some retards still believe that it is a husband's right to physically discipline his wife. So why should you end the marriage because your husband just corrected you? Go there and take correction and be submissive and be loyal. And those things that you do that makes him upset, those things you do that trigger him, you stop doing it. Now you, with them beats, go chop the advice. Domestic violence, even in present times, is taken seriously only when it leads to fatality. When somebody dies, that's when it's seen as a big deal. But if it's injury or being maimed or just being beaten, it's seen as a private issue, as a family matter. Go and resolve it within yourselves. It's even social media that is exposing injuries that so many women are getting from domestic violence, and it's now becoming a big issue. Before social media, so many women were beaten to faint, beaten to coma, and when they recover, they are taken back to their husband's house. In fact, the family will be the one to go there with a bottle of gin and apologize to the man for their daughter's bad conduct and, urge them to make things up and go. And even here and now, you still hear some people saying when women or people are going through very excruciating experiences in marriage involving physical harm or severe emotional torture, you hear people say it rains everywhere. There's no need, just stay there. It rains everywhere. Please, stop projecting your sad reality on others. Marriages can come with misunderstanding. But if your definition of rain is domestic violence or severe emotional trauma, it doesn't rain everywhere. There are people, millions of people, several people enjoying the bliss and the raw joy and happiness of a good marriage. And those people don't like to come out and share because they are scared that when they say it out now, the good thing they have will spoil. So many people enjoying very peaceful, good, fulfilling marriages keep it to themselves. They're not trying to, many of them do not want to prove a point to the world. They just stay in peace in their corner, enjoying their thing. They do not talk about it, and it does not even rain. It doesn't go viral as much as the ones suffering in their marriage. So we're seeing the same pattern even in Regina Daniels's predicament. Her own elder brother, her own brother, took to social media to say that every marriage has its problem. Not Samuel, not the brother who fought for her. I think that one has more integrity because, let me just read the two messages. The first elder brother that said every marriage has their problem, trivializing what happened if actually the lady is going through domestic violence, trivializing it, he said, no marriage without problems. But remember, I decided not to speak. There is no perfect couple. He now denied his sister being involved in drugs. So you can imagine that as of today, even when a woman is undergoing domestic violence that can actually kill her, a lot of people in society still say this rubbish, that there is no marriage without problem. Every marriage has its problem. Every marriage gets in problem, not before abuse. A lot of marriages are not abusive. It is the other brother, Sammy, the one that stood up for her, that posted this. He was like, when we had debates in secondary school on a good name is better than riches, now you go understand. I know they worship money. Respect is beautiful things. Please give a bottle of beer to this gentleman. So if her elder brother can come out to social media to trivialize his sister's experience and say every marriage, no perfect couple, every marriage has issue on a ground of domestic violence, and we have mommy, the kind of mother that would urge and push her daughter to worship a husband like Ned. Tell her, kneel down, say Burali, kneel down, bow before him. So you can imagine the kind of influence that such a mommy would have when such a daughter says she wants to leave that kind of situation. Those are the kind of mommies that will take their daughters by the hands and take them back, and instead tell two of them to kneel down. Tell her daughter to kneel down. She will kneel down beside her daughter and they will beg the man. This mommy is giving those vibes. So I believe that there will be intense pressure by family for Regina to go back. Then next, there is the shame, image, and reputation angle of things, especially with Regina coming into the marriage with the pepper them approach. If she had come into the marriage quietly, just calmed down and, enjoyed her billionaire husband, a lot of people's eyes and opinions will not have been in the marriage as much as it is. So she has already presented herself as the brand image, the poster face for happy polygamy. And she was a role model for young girls, my dear. Young girls shamelessly saying that they don't mind being 10th wife to a billionaire. Waiting they happen. Secure the bag and not send anybody. Crying in the Bentley. She had so many of these mentees, these young girls, who have formed an impression that a happy, blissful life comes from being in a polygamous marriage with a billionaire, and then they're on this rampage for people's husbands as long as there is money. Hiding behind, after all, polygamy is our culture, but they're not going into it because it's our culture. They're doing it because of what they want to gain from it and hiding under culture. So having built a brand or reputation around this marriage, she may be ashamed. It may be very shameful for her and very hard for her to leave. She may feel like the world would laugh at her. These other women will have won. And let us not forget that Regina happens to be very big on proving herself to society and seeking public validation and affirmation. So her sense of self and self-worth comes from the affirmations from the public. So she won't want people to laugh at her. The only way she can break free from that bottomless pit, because it's a bottomless pit, once you base your essence on what other people have to say, It's a bottomless pit, because as you are doing more, they're expecting more, they are criticizing more, so you are overdoing to compensate for the one you did, to get better than the last post, and you just keep on going. It's a bottomless pit until you self-destruct. The only way she can save herself from that bottomless pit is if she is deliberate about being whole, if she chooses to live for herself. So has she gotten to that state of emotional realization and maturity to make that radical change of living for herself than living for social media? Because it doesn't happen overnight. This incident of 1 week cannot just change her person and her personality. It's going to be gradual. So has she gotten to that stage where she can make that radical decision? I doubt. So this shame and reputation and not wanting the world to laugh at her might pressure her to go back to that marriage. But I believe that if she goes back, at least there might be some change in that nganga has come to an end. Maybe this time she will calm down, calm her body, make her body cooler, because somehow the whole thing has casts. Fourthly, the fourth reason why I believe that it's going to be very difficult for Regina to pull away, and the possibility of her going back to Ned is very high, because there may not be any backup or fallback plan. I've spent time talking to several women for several years, and I ensure that I speak to them realistically. And I've told them that your only savior as a married woman in Nigeria is just having a good husband. Let God just bless you with a good spouse, because as a married woman in Nigeria, you are at an immense disadvantage. And that's just the fact. Today I was watching a video of a lady talking about how her husband ran off, just walked out of their marriage because they have a special needs child, a child with cerebral palsy, and he's not responsible for the child financially. He can just move on, have a new family, and live his best life, and he's not held accountable for his responsibilities. Can that happen in working countries? In working countries, for example, when a man is having issues with his wife, especially when they are children, the system would ask him to step out of the house first. Not because he is deemed automatically guilty, but just applying common sense. It's just like when you have an elder child, maybe a 14-year-old son and a 3-year-old son, and the 3-year-old son comes and says, "This my big brother beats me." The first thing is to secure the small one, because that one, if you keep these two, the more likelihood that that 14-year-old can indeed overpower this one is higher. That's the natural thinking. So the system will first protect the person that they deem is more vulnerable, more likely to be hurt, less physically powerful first. It's not like the man has lost access to his house. It's still his house. His name is still on the paper. Legally, it's still his home. But they have seen that which is more practicable, which is fairer, which is more equitable. Is it the woman carrying 3 or 4 children and going out, disrupting the children's school, their lives, or the man as a single entity first stepping out first? Let us investigate. Which one is more practical? It is the other one. And it's not about gender. Even if your child, maybe your male minor child, goes to the authorities and tell them that you as the mother hit him or is hurting him, the police either take that child away first or tell you, the parents, the mother, to come out of the house first. So it's not a gender thing. It's about first giving provision and protection to the person who is more vulnerable in that situation first. Now that is how working societies behave. But that is not how it is in Nigeria. Please give me one example of any man who, even if he's the one that perpetrated violence on his wife, stepped out for the comfort and safety of his wife and children. It is not possible. It's you as the woman who has been beaten that will carry your children on your head and go out, and the man will immediately bring in another woman and start a new family. Then you and your children will be in one-room apartments struggling. So there is little or no protection for women. Don't come with the Yul Edochie and May Edochie example. Oh. There must have been sufficient evidence shown to the court that May was more instrumental to building that house than Yul. Let's not even go there. Now we have the existence of that dynamic in our society. And then there's now the marriage where the man does not even truly empower the women. All these frills and glam on social media is not empowering somebody. And most times that is a tactic employed by controlling people to keep you put. And now what's in this case? There is no statutory marriage between them. There is no legal marriage. There is no court marriage, as we call it, marriage at the registry. There is no church marriage. The only marriage that was done was a traditional marriage. And what does the law say when it comes to distribution of properties or all those coverages when it is a traditional marriage? Those distribution and allowances are governed by tradition, by the tradition of the place where that man came from. And I can bet you that that place do not have inheritance rights or all of those coverages traditionally for women. So any girl that opens her 2 eyes at her youth and goes to marry someone that is 50 years her senior would know that there is what they call wisdom that comes with age. And these men are master strategists. These old men are master strategists. They are not in there for the feelings. So now it's possible that Regina may have no assets in her name, no cars, no properties, no serious savings in the bank, no proper investments. All she may have are wigs, makeup, and mobile phone. So what's the backup? What's the fallback plan? When you leave empty-handed. You go from hundreds to zero. When this other wife, Lila, left, she ran back. Why do you think she ran back? She couldn't live without him. She was so consumed with love. So the possibility that there may not be serious backup plans or structure to fall back on may encourage Regina to just manage the devil she knows. So at the end of the day, we might find Regina going back and staying, but she would stay at the cost of the shiny, velvety trap. And since it is shiny and glittering and velvety, people on the outside would admire this beautiful work of art. From the outside, people would say this golden and luxury rims, so beautiful. But in the inside, it may feel like prison. It may just feel like state penitentiary. And why may it feel like that? Because every and any real marriage needs connection and friendship for it to be fulfilling. So guys, yes, we have come to the end of today's video. Don't forget to check out the company that I introduced to us, Tenalytics. I'm going to leave the links to access them directly on WhatsApp, where you can chat them and ask all your many questions. Or if you are ready to jump in and begin registration, I'm also going to leave that link. Check them out, and I wish you all the best. If you're new here, you're seeing my face for the first time, or if you've been watching without subscribing, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, give this video a big thumbs up, drop all your thoughts down in the comment section, and stay glued, for we have so much more coming your way. It's me, your girl Barrister Neze, and this is Nezeville. I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye.